So hello, how are you? Status code. Each HTTP response message must contain a status code, and it in the first line. It is in the first line indicating the result of the request, and the status code fall into 5 groups according to the code first digit. And the first access is for the informational, and informational. The second 2 accesses the request was successful, and 3 accesses the client is redirected to the different resource, and the fourth one is 4 accesses the request contains an error of some kind, and the fifth one is 5 accesses the server encountered an error fulfilling the request. So this is how all these stated codes mean, and there are numerous specific status code, many of which are used only in specialized circumstances. Here are the some stated codes you can most likely to encounter when attacking application, along with the usable reason phrases associated with them. And the first one is 100 continue, and is sent in some circumstances when a client submitted a request containing a body, and the response indicates that the request header were received and that the client should continue sending the body, and the server returns a second response when the request has been completed. So this is about 100. And the second one is 200. Okay, this is more frequently you will going to see, and this indicates the request was successful and that the response body contains the result of the request. And the third one is 201. So 201 is continued in response to the put request and to indicate that the request was successful. So the next one is 301. So 301 is moved permanently. It redirects the browser permanently to a different URL which is specified in the location header, and clients should use the new URL in the future rather than original. And the next one is 302, which is called, and call redirect the browser temporarily to a different URL, and which is specified in the location header, and the client should revert to the original URL in subsequent request. And the next one is 304. 304 is not modified. Instruct the browser to use the cached copy of the requested resources. The server uses the if modified since and if none match request headers to determine whether the client has the latest version of the resources or not. So the next one is 400, which is named as bad request. Bad request indicates that the client submitted an invalid HTTP request. So you will be probably encountered this when you have modified a request in certain invalid ways, such as by placing a space character into the URL. And the next one is 301. Okay, 401. So 401 is just unauthorized, indicates that the server requires HTTP authentication before the result request will be granted. The www.authenticate header contains details on the types of authentication supported. So this is the most common one which you can see. And the next one is 403. 403 is just used for forbidden, indicates that no one is allowed to access the requested resource regardless of authentication. And the next one is 404. 404 is not found. This is the more often you can see when there is no internet connection and kind of thing. So not found indicates that the request resources does not exist. Next one is 405. 405 method not allowed indicates that the method used in the request is not supported for a specified URL. For example, you may have received this status code if you attempt to use the put method where it is not supported. Okay, the next one is 4013. 4013 request entity too large. If you are probing for buffer overflow vulnerabilities in native code and therefore are submitted long string of data, so this indicates that the body of your request is too large for the server to handle. Next one is 414, which is named as request URL too long, and which is similar to 413 response, and it indicates that URL used in the request is too larger to handle by the server. And the next one is 500. 500 internal server error indicates that the server encountered an error fulfilling the request. So this normally occurs when you have submitted unexpected input that caused and handle error somewhere within the application processing, you should closely review the full content of the server response for any detail indicating the nature of the error. And the next one is 503. 503 is just service unavailable, just indicating the service unavailable, and normally indicate that although the web server itself is functioning and can respond to request, the application accessed via the server is not responding. You should verify whether this is result for any action you have performed. So this is all about status code,